Okay, so the second situation that I want to go over are the next couple of columns in the, go to the data part. We're going to go into a new situation here, and actually this one is going to be the idea of pet-facilitated therapy. So if you want to write some notes on this, this is the idea of pet-facilitated therapy.
Is this group pre and post?
We'll get to that in a second.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you remember the article, do you remember reading that article? It's on pet-facilitated therapy. They had 3 groups. One group just had social support. They had talk therapy, no dogs. A second group, remember what the second group had?
Dogs, no stories.
Dogs, no stories. And what did the third group have?
Just dogs.
Well, it was dogs
No,
and the
just
stories.
dogs.
Oh.
So it was kind of the combination thing.
Yeah,
And-
just dogs was the one with the no dogs, dogs, no stories.
Right.
So, you remember what statistics they did on those? So they looked at how things were before and how things were after. So what kind of statistic do you do on things when it's a before versus after? Beverly, do you recall what kind of statistics did they do on that, or what kind of statistics would you do if it's just you measure people before, you get the animals or the dogs and the psychotherapy, and then you measure them after?
I think they did within subject ANOVA
Yeah, it wasn't a within subject ANOVA, it was a within subject
Design.
t-test.
T-test, yeah, within subject T-test, kind of the intervention design. And that works out pretty well, right? You measure people before, and then you measure people after. So if you want to write in your notes, in a within subject T-test, if it's pet-facilitated therapy, you kind of measure people before, and you measure people after. That's pretty useful, right? You can see what effect your intervention has. What I'm going to do in this particular example, though, is I'm going to throw a little wrinkle into that. The criticism of that approach, often the criticism is you don't have a control group. You don't know if it's really the animal-assisted therapy. There is no control group. So many times those types of studies from an evidence-based perspective get criticized because it's like, well, people could have just gotten better naturally anyway. So what you really need here is a control group. You need a group of people who you measure before, and then you don't really do anything with them, and then you measure them after. That's really what you need to do here. So that's the kind of design. And if you ever do pet-facilitated therapy or art therapy or any of these things, the type of design you would need to use is the design that I've kind of come up with there. Emily, I might need to borrow a sheet from your notebook. Or maybe I can even use the board here. What I need you to do, and Beverly, you're just listening in here, but that's okay. Can you hear me, Beverly?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. So what I'm going to do here, and if you want to do this at home, or there you go. Emily, just put it on the table. Can you reach the table? No. Okay, that's fine. What I'm going to have you do here is I'm going to have you create a 2x2 table for your notes. Create a 2x2 table. So in the 2x2 table, on the top,
Wait.
you can write it in your notes, or it's probably best in your notes. What I want you to do is on the top, write time of testing. Time of testing. That's kind of a variable name, time of testing. How many times could you actually test people?
Twice.
Twice. So maybe under time of testing is the variable name. We could have on the left side pre, and on the right side, what would it be?
Post.
Post. And then on the left-hand margin for the 2 rows, let's call this variable group. call this variable group. And we're going to have two groups. We're going to have the control group, and then we're going to have the pet therapy group. Or pet therapy, which we just call it. Beverly, is this kind of working for you? Are you? Sorry, I can't
Yeah.
make the visual for you, but basically what we have is a 2x2 table, and the two rows say control and pet therapy, and the two columns say pre and post. How many variables, Drew, how many variables do we actually have up here?
Just the two.
There are two variables here, kind of two independent variables here. There are two independent variables here. What are they?
The time of testing and the groups.
The time of testing and the groups. Let's make up some numbers here. Let's make up some numbers here.
Okay.
So, do you remember what we measure here? It's quality of life. Could actually make up some numbers in your example there.
Yes.
Yeah, let's kind of go back to the data screen. 2, 3, 3, and 3, 2, 3. 2, 3, 3. So let's write up the numbers here in pre-control. Let's have, what is it? 2, 3, 3?
And then 1, 2. Oh.
And then what's the, well, say again?
Well, I think you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers.
Oh, you're right. There's 5 numbers. 2, 3, 3, and then what are the last two?
1, 2.
1 and 2. So what's the mean of all these numbers? Let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's not a very easy number, is it? Didn't do that one quite right.
Calculate it.
Oh, 6, 7, 8, 9. What am I writing for that? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 divided by 5 is what?
I thought it was 12.
6, 7, 8.
We're just having fun.
10, 11. It's 11.
It's 11, so it's
Oh,
5 divided by 11,
divided by
which is
5.
2.2. So put the mean in that of 2.2. Yeah, you're not going to create new data sets here. I'll kill you. That's not the goal. Okay, go back to the data, please, Miss Emily. So let's look at the next group here. Well, let's look at the post scores. What were the post scores for that group? So go to the next column. 3, 2, 3, 1, 2. 3, 2, 3, 1, 2. So what's the mean of 3, 2, 3, 1, 2? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 again.
Yeah.
11, so 2.2.
2.2 again. Now let's go to the pet therapy group. The pet therapy group. What do we have there?
1, 2, 2, 3, 2.
1, 2, 2, 3, 2. More than enough here. I'm sorry, guys. 1, 2, 3, 2.
8
It was
divided by 5.
It was so funny when I was talking to Emily about tonight. I said, "Oh, this could be a piece of cake." So what's the mean of this group?
2.
1.6.
3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, it's 2. Woo!
Oh,
And then how about the last group?
7,
Seven.
8, 6, 7, 9.
7, 8, 6. So
7,
what's
9. The mean's going to be 7.4.
7.4? 7.4. So does this data set make sense?
Yes.
It does. Why do you say it makes sense?
Because your post after pet therapy number is a lot higher than it was for the control group.
Yeah, if you look at this and if you want to write in your notes, it looks like for the control group, did they really change between the before and after?
No.
No, they stayed the same. Nothing was done with them. Would we predict that? Yes. They stayed the same. But how about for the pet therapy group? Did they start off at about the same level?
Yes.
Yeah, they started off at the same level. And what happened to them after the animals?
Scores went up.
Quality of life went up. Quality of life went up for them. Does that make sense for you?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to try to cut to the chase a little bit here again and get to the analysis here. The analysis is a little complicated, and I don't think I necessarily need you to know everything with the analysis. So we'll try to do the Reader's Digest condensed version on this one. To do this analysis, so I'll need you to go back to your data screen and kind of take some good notes, hopefully, on this. Go back to your data screen. Notice how I kind of set this up. Can you kind of see this here? I kind of have a pre and a post, and then I have the group there. That's the way you do this. What you may want to do, actually I think it would be useful, can you actually just grab those 3 columns?
Yes.
See if you can just grab those 3 columns and copy and paste those into Word. See if you can copy and paste those into Word. What you can do is you can just say, yeah, that's, and you can write a few notes. That's how you put the information in. You don't really need to give me any details. You can just say that's the screen. But for your future record, you can just have that. Save this. Now the analysis. Okay, so let's go for it here. For the analysis, go back to the data screen.
oops.
The analysis, and we'll have you write as you go here. You need to go under. I need to remove this.
Compare means.
Definitely not. You need to go into, if you want to write in your notes, general linear model. You still with me, Beverly?
Yes.
General linear model. And you need to click it on the one option there. What is the one option?
Univariate.
Univariate. We might even have better news. Your program may not actually even run this one. Then you don't have to do this. I can just tell you what happens. Yeah, good news for you. Only Beverly's program actually runs this analysis. So this is going to work out quite well for you folks. Because I'm just going to get to describe this. Beverly, yeah, don't even worry about it. So
Okay.
what we're going to do here is you're not going to actually have to do the statistics. I'm going to get to share with you kind of the logic of the idea and the outcome then that's a lot easier. So, let's go into the idea here. Once again, how many variables here, Emily? How many independent variables? There are two, time of testing and group. So when you have two independent variables, what are the three effects you could look for? What are the three effects you could look for?
The interaction.
So one is the interaction, and what are the other two? You could look for an interaction between group and time of testing. Beverly, do you remember what the other two effects you could look for?
The main effect of the like regular therapy
Yeah.
for the control group, and then the main effect for the pet therapy.
Yeah, so the three effects you could look for, and if you want to write this down, one thing you could look for is there a main effect of group? Another thing you could look for is there a main effect of time of testing? And then the final thing, is there an interaction between group and time of testing? Is there a main effect of group? Is there a main effect of time of testing? And is there an interaction? I'm glad it doesn't do the analysis, because that was going to be a big mess. God is with us tonight, folks. Okay, so let's start off with this idea of the main effect of time of testing. What would we do with the matrix? If we wanted to just eyeball it, which is all we're going to do here, how would we figure out if it looks like if there's a main effect of time of testing? What would we do in the matrix? Would we go across or would we go down?
Across. Sorry. Down.
It would actually be, you would go down. You would say time of testing pre, what would the number be for the mean here? 2.2 and 2. So it'd be a marginal mean of 2.1. And then for post, what do we got there? 9.6. So what do we got? 4.5, 9.6 is what, my brain's not working that fast. 9.6 divided by 2 is 4.5, 4.7, 4.8. I think it's like 4.8. So there could be a main effect, right? I mean, it might be significant. People get better after. What's the other main effect we could look for? Emily, what's the other main effect we could look for?
The group.
Yeah, is there a main effect of group? So the control, what's the mean there? Marginal mean is 2.2. And the other mean is what? 4.8. Might be significant. Pet therapy, better mean. But finally, and most importantly here, what's the last thing we could look for here? This is really the important part. Beverly, what's the last effect we could look for here?
The interaction.
Yeah, the interaction. So let's make a little line graph here. What happens to the control group? What's the line look like for the control group?
Same.
It's flat, right? 2.2, so just draw a straight line. How about for the pet therapy group? What happens to their line before versus after?
It raises.
Yeah, it starts right about the same point, but it goes way up. How do those lines look?
They don't look parallel.
They are non-parallel. These are very non-parallel lines. So what do you think this is going to be? Do you think this will be a significant interaction?
Yes.
Yes, this will be a significant interaction. This is a 2x2 design, and it's a significant interaction. Is that exactly what we would want to predict? Emily, if you did your senior project and you did a design like this, would you be happy with these results? I these would be great results. Thank you for stepping in for her. That was really nice of you. Oh, you can touch her on the shoulder because you're just.
Okay.
This would be great, wouldn't it? We have a control group. We're getting better. It's a good design. It's a well-designed study because it's always good to have a control group, and it's the interaction that matters. The final thing I want to say about this example is I want to talk just for one more minute about the variables. We've done 2x2s before, but they've always been all between subject, right? Everybody's in a different group. This kind of design is a little different. Is the group a between subject variable? The group. Group is a between subject variable because you're either in the control or the pet therapy, but time of testing, what kind of variable is that? It's within subject. So time of testing is within subject, group is between. This is called, as the last point, a mixed design. This is called a mixed design. Don't worry, Emily, you're going to be on the plane for a bunch of hours tomorrow. You can just listen in.
All right, hold on. Repeat that. Time of testing is within subject.
Yep. Group is between subject. So this is called a mixed design. And this is a very effective protocol for doing pet therapy, animal therapy, art therapy. It's better than just the pre-post thing because it's got control. You all right, Em? Don't worry, no new data sets. Whew. That was a lot. Beverly, you okay? You know, I got to tell you guys, as I share this, Emily, do you remember I had a friend down? Actually, we'll stop the tape here.